There's somebody at the door. Again. Are we at Clapham Junction? Jenkins! Jenkins!
Perhaps he is indisposed in the kitchen with Miss Refractor. Be a gentleman, dearest Everard, and see whom it is who calls upon us.
Answering my own door? Oh, what has this century come to that a gentleman has to answer his own portal? Yes, and what are you selling, a woman? If it's that giant man bag you're lugging, I'm not interested.
A man bag?
That's what I said. Now hop it before Jenkins releases the hounds. Assuming we have hounds, I never actually thought to check.
Young man, I am unaccustomed to being addressed in such familiar fashion by a footman. Kindly fetch your master, Mr. Everard Weaselington, so that I may converse with him on matters of import. Not the least of which being the disciplinary arrangements of his residence's staff.
Wipe your chin, love. I'm Mr. Weaselington. The butler's off battling somewhere. But that doesn't tell me who you are, me dear.
Whom am I? I, Mr. Weaselington, am the Lady Cressida Wokingham, aunt to your beloved Miss Euphemia Filofax, here to consider your suitability for betrothal. Hence, the very single personage towards whom a lasting good first impression from yourself would have been essential.
Oh, Groblocks, this is exactly why I should have let the help answer the door. From the other side of infinity to the age of manners comes a mind traveller, Doctor WHeasel, who with that big goose must uncover a lurking chameleonic menace amidst the tranquillity of Victorian high society. In Doctor WHeasel and the Importance of Being WHeasel, Part 4. I guess you better come in, Lady Wokingham. Come on, we don't stand on ceremony in this house.
I was waiting, Mr. Weaselington, until you had the common courtesy to either offer to carry my valise yourself, or summoned one of your curiously absent servants. Pray tell me, Mr. Weaselington, are my niece's presumptions about your wealth in error? Are you of insufficient means to have become encoupled with her?
Oh, leave it out, Lady Wokingham. I've already got a perfectly good butler, Jenkins. Not too nippy on the old pins, but he mixes a mean drink. I'm sure he'll be along. Ah!
This does not appear to be your butler, but your housekeeper, Mr. Weaselington.
What? Oh no, my dear lady. I am Mr. Weaselington's ward's governess, Miss Refractor. I am delighted to finally meet you, Lady Wokingham.
Likewise, Miss Refractor. It's gratifying to discover not all of Mr. Weaselington's household is run in a disorderly manner.
Thank you. Jenkins sent me to say he'll be along presently, Mr. Weaselington, and he'll be along to deal with Lady Wokingham's bags once he's returned from the cellar. Perhaps the two of you fine people would care to continue to the morning room while I supervise the baggage?
Ha-ha, which one? Oh, all right, the luggage. Oh, nice catch up, Vic. See if you can't have a quick rummage about her luggage and see if there's any monstery clues.
I'm sorry, Mr. Weaselington. What was that?
Nothing of import. Come along, dear lady. I am sure Euphemia will be delighted to see you.
Euphemia, my dearest niece, I trust the journey to Mr. Weaselington's unquestionably managed estate was not too taxing.
Dearest Aunt Cressida, how magnificent it is to see you once more, and yes, my sojourn from London was most pleasant. Why, we have only just arrived ourselves.
We? You travelled here in this gentleman's company?
No, Auntie, I was accompanied by his brother, one Thomas Weaselington.
A brother? I heard Mr. Weaselington was an only child. Do help me to understand matters more clearly. Is there a fraternal linkage of which I was previously uninformed?
Yes, well, you see, Euphemia came up from London with an old friend of mine. He's a decent sort, likes a spot of rugged and a good cigar, but he does have a bit of a caddish reputation as a wag.
A caddish wag?
A jokester, if you will. He told Miss Filofax that he was my brother simply to play a joke upon me. Oh, how we laughed! Once.
He is not your brother Thomas? Oh, Everard! What a most cruel prank to play upon anyone! And at which juncture were you going to enlighten me about his malicious deception?
What? Right, I've not told you. Sorry. Digby and I had only spoken about his actions, right before he nipped off with my niece.
Yes, your niece, your young, pretty niece. Another fact about your household and familial arrangements which you had neglected to discuss with me.
Look, Euphemia, if I had told you I kept a pretty young girl hidden away in my country house whom I visited from time to time, I mean, what sort of man would you take me for?
I am quite sure Miss Filofax and myself would take you for exactly the kind of man you appear to be. My dear niece, it has become tremendously apparent, far more than I expected, that this young man is a most unsuitable match. Gather your things, and I shall have the servants summon the dog-cart.
Yes, Auntie. As always, you know best.
Fish fingers in a bun. Look, ladies, this has all been the most colossal misunderstanding. Give me a moment to explain, and you'll see there's no reason at all to go scurrying off.
Hello again, brother. I have to say, you've got a cracking bit of real estate here, and no mistake.
Mr. Mongoose, you make me blush.
He's talking about the house's grounds, Aurelia, not your butt.
Everard, such coarseness of language! And I believe you owe your ward an explanation about your brother.
Really? Must I?
Mr. Weaselington, it is the very least you could do in the circumstances. And then perhaps you should formally introduce us all.
No, I explained to Aurelia about Digby's deception earlier.
Did you ever, what?
Shut up, Digby, or I'll never get through this. Look, Digby Mongoose and Miss Aurelia Orpington, this is the Lady Wokingham, who turns out to be Miss Filofax's aunt, and for reasons which escape me, a personage who needs to bless our future coupling. However, thanks to your bone-headed jape and my useless servants, she's decided to take her bat and ball home on the next dog cart to London, which means my wedding's off, and frankly right now I'm not at all sure about tonight's ball either.
Oh, Uncle, not the ball! You cannot cancel this evening, the night upon which I've piled all my girlish hopes of womanhood.
I could, Aurelia, because right now I really don't think anyone's in any mood to party, least of all me.
Can it be thus? The man I trusted most in the world is willing to crush his little Aurelia's anticipations, simply to bolster his own standing in society. My dearest Miss Filofax, may I call you Euphemia?
I will insist upon it, as I shall call you Aurelia.
We have both been wronged by these two men, and my uncle most of all. Let us retire to the drawing-room and down upon bread and butter while we contemplate our sorry state.
Sorry, old man. Looks like this is all blown up in your face, what? Still, what were a few tears before bedtime?
Mr. Mongoose, I can assure you that with my standing in London society, there will be more than a few tears to follow this escapade of yours and Mr. Weaselington's. I shall ensure word will soon spread of your most ungentlemanly conduct, which I am sure will lower your social standings considerably. Now excuse me, for I tire of your most vexatious company too.
I say, Everard, what a frightful old vulture. Think you had a lucky escape, eh?
Hardly. I've wrecked my relationship with Miss Filofax and Miss Orpington. I've pretty much ensured that tonight's party's going to be a bust, and moreover, it looks like I'm going to be kicked out of polite society. Although that's the story of my life.
Stuff and nonsense, old man. It'll all sort itself out in no time. Storm in a teacup, really.
More like the monster under the bed. Look, Digby, could you give me a couple of minutes to myself? I need to sort my head out about what I need to do about all of this.
There we are. That's the Everard I know. Always a plan, always a scheme. I'll pop into the study and see if you've still got that glorious whiskey.
Who would have thought that getting a handful of people to attend a party without someone storming off or another being eaten by an extra spatial monster would be so tricky?
I have moved Lady Wokingham's case into her room and served refreshments to the ladies in the drawing room.
Oh, thanks, Jenkins. That might help matters. Tell me, what was their mood like?
It's not my place to judge my betters, sir, but I noted they seemed to be most extraordinarily caustic with regard to their assessment of your conduct.
Groblocks. Gonna take more than a dramatic last-minute oration this time. Oh, is that another drink for me?
Yes, sir. I rather thought, given the current circumstances, you would be in need of one.
What would I do without you? Hell's breath, Jenkins. This one's even stronger. What's in it?
Gin, a vermouth, and a generous portion of horse tranquilizer, sir.
Oh, is that the cherry? Wait, the room's starting to spin. Jenkins, you poisoned me.
Yes, Mr. Weaselington.
I couldn't have you getting in the way of my little coming out party.
Has Doctor WHeasel drunk his last drink? Will Aurelia ever forgive her uncle? And is Digby Mongoose at a liability? I tell you, I'd not be inviting him to any of my parties. Find out if anything can save the day in Doctor WHeasel and the importance of being WHeasel. Part 5. Doctor WHeasel is a Weasel Audio Enterprises production featuring Randolph Weaseling as Dr. WHeasel, Covington Goose as that big goose, Lulu Miller as Miss Orpington, Paul Harrison as Digby Mongoose, Melissa Stanton as Miss Euphemia Filofax, and Simon Hart as Lady Wokingham.